there yesterday. What can you do to get them over there? So those are some of the challenges that we typically face in our day-to-day operations. Using the process and technology, we could look at overcoming a lot of these challenges that we have. So how do we go about it? I'm going to try and keep this a little brief because I'm sure all of us have processes and do have knowledge about this. So first and foremost, document your existing process. Because without that, you would not be in a position to identify areas of improvement where you need to re-engineer your process. Identifying problem areas, collecting data and metrics to complement what you need to change. Then involving the stakeholders. That's of primary importance because if your stakeholders are not involved in your process, you're not going to have a buy-in. You don't have a buy-in into the process. You're going to face challenges in terms of change management. So the easiest way to look at managing change is by involving all the stakeholders, getting their buy-in. The moment you have their buy-in with your process, half your job is done in implementing it out because they are equally responsible as you to implement that process and take it forward. Define the scope of the new process. What are the areas you're going to touch? Make sure that's communicated across to each and everyone and they understand it completely. Remove redundancies in the process. There could be multiple back and forth movement of documentation happening before an application will be processed. Remove those data redundancies. Build workflows. Make the process measurable. If it's not measurable, you don't know whether the efficiency of the process is good, how effective the process is. You need to have metrics to be able to measure the process. Not having that could lead to having a process which is not delivering the desired results that you may be wanting. Metrics driven, again, to help you improve the process efficiencies and to demonstrate what is it that has been achieved in the last couple of weeks, months or years, as the case may be. Training of resources on new processes. That's very important because put in a new process, your people don't know how to run with it or don't understand the process. The process is bound to fail. So training and communicating, this is the process, these are the steps to be followed, is another key to ensuring success of the process. You could use multiple techniques to implement or define or improve upon your process. You have Six Sigma, you have Lean, you have Kaizen, you have many other techniques available with you. Look at using them, leverage those techniques. They are proven techniques which exist that would help you improve upon your process. Okay. Implementing technology. Leverage technology to build workflows. Workflows would ensure a smooth transaction that you would be having. Automate your processes and steps to the maximum extent possible. Remove any manual intervention. Integrate with existing systems and data. We all have HR databases. A lot of the information that is required to process an application is already available in the databases. Leverage those databases. It would help reduce redundancy and also ensure increased compliance because the data in your system are validated data. You would reduce the probability of making any errors while processing an application that could lead to compliance issues subsequently. Allocate the tasks. Everyone is clear. They know where they come into the process, what is the expectation of them, and what are they expected to do. Automate your processing of applications to the maximum extent possible, which means reuse data, keep data, track the data, and keep it for future use also. You could land up reusing data you used to process a previous application to process an extension, for example. Reuse that. It would reduce your lead time, increase your efficiencies, increase satisfaction of your employees also. Removing redundancies, as I mentioned, if you have data captured anywhere, you should look at taking it from that source rather than asking individual or somebody else, HR or finance, whoever it may be, to provide that information out to you. Create and track compliance index. As was being spoken in one of the earlier panels, we need to look at having a complete compliance department who looks into this aspect. Look at it, create your index, track against the index. That will again give you scope for improving your process and using technology to increase the compliance to various regulations that you may have. It helps increase the transparency in your process. I'm sure all of us would get calls at vague hours in the night. Oh, you know what, I need to track. Could you tell me the status of my application? No. Well, at 11 or 12 at night, would you be wanting to take that kind of a call from an employee? But sure, we need to definitely answer the employee. But you could use technology to get the employee to know the answers to those kind of questions, so he does not come up to you asking those questions. Technology could help you track the changing environment, changing forms, change in requirements, compliance requirements, putting that back into your process to ensure adherence to the same. Benefits: having a robust process and complemented with technology, the benefits are tremendous that you could build. You get a scalable operation. So next time your management comes to you and says, you know, 100 people tomorrow, you say, yes, my system is there, my process is there, it's capable of not just giving you 100, I can do a 500 for you. Now, many organizations have benefited from implementing this kind of thing. I remember in one of my earlier organizations when the process was entirely paper-driven, some of those colleagues are here, and I would call them the driver, the chaser, and the checker. So we literally had scenarios where we weren't using technology optimally. Someone was jumping out of a window. There was a person driving like a madman to the FedEx office so that we could get the courier out on time. There was another person sitting in the back seat of the car, checking the documentation. Oh yeah, do I have all the papers here or not? So that was totally manually driven. It was totally maddening. We used to spend 18 hours a day in office trying to process those applications. A couple of years later, the process was fully automated. Half the number of resources, 9 to 5, 5 times the number of applications. That is the benefit of using technology to process your cases out. Ability to react quickly to changing scenarios, which is what is expected by the management from you. Repeatability. You know day in and day out, I am going to get you that application with 100% accuracy because the system checks and controls are built in. Technology is taking care to ensure there is no breakage in that. So you have a high degree of repeatability, you have a scalable operation, be it one application or 1,000 applications. It's always going to come out right. Building competitive advantage, it lowers the cost of your operations, reduces your processing lead times, increases efficiencies, and more so, increased employee satisfaction. All this, I'm sure we all would agree, would translate into a very good bottom line for the organization. So use that to help the organization also. Reduction in non-value-added activities is again, data redundancies are removed. You've got a process which is workflow-driven. There's no up and down of any documentation happening. Your dependency on calling up someone in the finance or the HR or the project teams for information can all be taken care of by the workflow-driven process that you have. A much more transparent operation, so you don't have this guy calling you at 12 in the night saying, can you tell me the status of my application?